When did you leave? The clerk asked again. In the 13th year of the reign period, Jinguan, said Tripitaka. I've gone through 14 years and the bitter experience of 10,000 waters and 1,000 mountains before arriving at this region. Truly a divine monk, exclaimed the post-house clerk. Then Tripitaka asked, and what is the heaven-allotted age of your noble state? Ours is the great kingdom of India, replied the post-house clerk. Since the time of the founder of our kingdom, Taizong, it has been some 500 years already. The father who occupies the throne at present is a person who has peculiar fondness for mountains and streams, flowers, and plants. His dynastic name is Emperor Yizong, and the title of his reign period is Jingyan. He has been ruling for 28 years. This humble cleric, said Tripitaka, would like to have an audience with him today to have our travel rescript certified. Do you know whether court is still being held? Good. Good. This is precisely a good time, said the post-house clerk. Our princess, the daughter of the king, has recently celebrated her 20th birthday. At the intersection of the major thoroughfares, a festooned tower has been erected from which she will throw down an embroidered ball in order to determine which person she will take for her husband, the man ordained of heaven. Today happens to be the very day of that exciting event, and I believe our father the king has yet to retire from court. If you wish to have your rescript certified, this would be a good time to go do so. Tripitaka was pleased, and he would have left at once had not he seen that a vegetarian meal was being served. He stayed, therefore, and ate it with the post-house clerk and his 3 disciples. It was past noon, and Tripitaka said, I should go now. I'll escort you, master, said Pilgrim. I'll go too, said 8 Rules. Sha Monk said, Second elder brother, you shouldn't. Your features aren't the most attractive. What will you do when you arrive at the court gate? Pretend that you are fat. Let big brother go. Wu Jing is quite right, said Tripitaka. Our idiot is rough and coarse, but Wukong still has a little refinement. Pouting his snout, that idiot said. With the exception of master, there's not that much difference in the way the 3 of us look. Tripitaka put on his cassock, and Pilgrim picked up the document satchel to go with him. On the street they saw all the people, scholars, farmers, laborers, merchants, writers, the learned and the ignorant, saying to one another, Let's go see the tossing of the embroidered ball. Standing by the side of the road, Tripitaka said to Pilgrim, The people in this place, their clothing, their buildings, their utensils, their manner of speech and behavior are all the same as those of our great Tang. I'm thinking now about the deceased mother of my secular home, who met the man he was destined to marry by throwing an embroidered ball, and they became man and wife. To think that they should have this custom here also. Let us go, too, to have a look. How about it? Said Pilgrim. No, said Tripitaka. You and I are dressed improperly, as priests. People may get suspicious. Master, said Pilgrim. Have you quite forgotten the words of that old monk at the benefactor of orphans gold-spreading monastery? We should go see the festooned tower because at the same time we can distinguish truth from falsehood. In the midst of all this hurly-burly, that king must be concerned with the happy doings of his daughter. How could he be bothered with the affairs of the court at this time? There's no harm in you and me going to the crossroads. On hearing this, Tripitaka did indeed follow Pilgrim to go watch the various people waiting for the embroidered ball to be tossed. Little did they realize that their going there was like the fisher casting down both hook and thread. Would henceforth haul up some intrigues instead. We tell you now about that king of India who, because of his love for mountains and streams, flowers and plants, led his queen and princess into the imperial garden last year one night to enjoy the moonlight. Their outing aroused a monstrous deviate, who abducted the true princess while she herself falsely assumed the princess's form. Knowing that the Tang monk would reach this region at that particular hour, day, month, and year, she wangled the wealth of the state to erect a festooned tower in order to take him as her mate. She was, you see, desirous of picking the vital energy of his true yang, so that she would become a superior immortal of the great monad. It was now the third quarter past the hour of noon. Pilgrim and Tripitaka pushed through the crowd and approached the tower. Just then the princess, flanked by some 70 maidens all colorfully attired, held up high the lighted stalks of incense to pray to heaven and earth, while an attendant stood by her holding the embroidered ball. That tower had 8 exquisite windows. Through one of them, the princess gazed at the crowd. When she saw the Tang monk draw near, she picked up the ball with her own hands and tossed it at him. The ball landed on his head, knocking his Varokana hat to one side. The Tang monk was so startled that he tried to hold on to the ball with his hands. All at once, the ball rolled into one of his sleeves. It hit a priest. It hit a priest. Those standing on the tower all began to shout, "Aha!" Those merchants and tradesmen at the crossroads all pressed forward to try to take the embroidered ball away. With a thunderous roar, Pilgrim gave his torso a stretch, teeth clenched, and immediately became an imposing figure some 30 feet tall, and with a most ugly face. Those people became so terrified that they tumbled and fell, not daring at all to come near. In a moment they dispersed, and Pilgrim changed back into his original form. Meanwhile, the palace maidens and eunuchs, young and old, all descended from the tower to bow to the Tang monk, saying, "Honorable man, honorable man, please enter the hall of the court to be congratulated." Tripitaka hurriedly returned their salutations and tried to raise them with his hands before turning to grumble at Pilgrim. "You apehead," he said. "You are making a fool of me again. The embroidered ball hit your head," said Pilgrim, chuckling. "And it rolled into your sleeve. What has that to do with me? Why blame me? What am I supposed to do now?" asked Tripitaka. "Master, please relax," said Pilgrim. "Go into the court to have an audience with the throne, while I return to the post house to tell 8 rules and Shamunk. We shall wait for your news. If the princess does not desire to take you for a husband, you'll simply have your travel rescript certified and leave. If she insists on taking you, you say to the king, 'Summon my disciples so that I may give them some instructions.' When we 3 are summoned into the court, I'll be able to distinguish the true from the false. This is my plot of subduing the fiend through marriage." The Tang monk had no choice but to agree, and Pilgrim turned to go back to the post house. That elder, surrounded by the various palace maidens, was brought to the tower. The princess came down and led him by the hand to the imperial chariot, which they then rode together. The entire entourage departed for the gate of the court. The custodian of the Yellow Gate proceeded first to memorialize to the king, saying, "Your Majesty, the princess is leading back a monk, who probably has been hit by the ball. They are now outside the gate awaiting your summons." The king was not pleased by what he heard. He would have liked to send the priest away, but not knowing the wishes of the princess, he felt obliged to summon them inside. The princess and the Tang monk thus went up to the hall of golden chimes. Truly, this was what happened. Husband and wife both cried, "Your Majesty." Both good and evil bowed most solemnly. After the ceremony, the king asked them to ascend the hall as he posed this question: "Where did you come from, priest, and how were you hit by our daughter's ball?" Prostrating himself on the ground, the Tang monk said, "This humble cleric is someone sent by the great Tang emperor in the South Jambudvipa continent to go worship Buddha and seek scriptures from the great thunderclap in the western heaven. Since I carry with me a rescript for this lengthy journey, I have come especially to have an audience with the king to have it certified. My path took me past the crossing beneath the festooned tower, and I did not expect that I would be hit on the head by the ball that the princess tossed. This humble cleric is someone who has left the family and who belongs to a strange religion. How could I dare become the spouse of royalty? I beg you, therefore, to pardon the mortal offense of this humble cleric, certify my rescript, and send me off quickly to the Spirit Mountain. When I have faced Buddha and succeeded in acquiring scriptures to return to my homeland, I shall establish a perpetual memorial to your majesty's heavenly kindness." The king said, "If you are a sage monk from the land of the east, you must have been, as it were, drawn through 1,000 miles to marriage by a thread. Our princess has just celebrated her 20th birthday, and not yet married. Because it was determined that the year, month, day, and hour of this very day are all auspicious, we erected that festooned tower for tossing the ball to seek a good match for her. It just happened that you were hit. We are not pleased, but we do not know how our princess feels." "Father King," said the princess as she kowtowed, "there is a proverb which says, 'If you wed a chicken, you follow a chicken. If you marry a dog, you follow a dog.' Your daughter, after all, made a vow earlier, when this embroidered ball was knitted. I made known to the deities of heaven and earth that I would marry whomever the ball struck, for that would be the foreordained person. Today the ball struck the sage monk.